Hold on. Shh.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I'm just about to set up. I got a little delay coming downstairs.
That's all right.
I am happy to see you guys. And there we go. I am all set. So, let me give you a very quick introduction to me. My name is Mr. Doerr, and I am the Curator of Education, which is a fancy title that just means I am a teacher. But, as you can maybe tell by looking behind me, my classroom is not a normal classroom. And that's because I am a teacher in a museum. So, I am also not very good at keeping secrets. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys so that you can ask me some questions as you try to figure out where I am. And then, once you do figure that out, we will explore my museum. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
My name is Bryson, and are you east of the Mississippi River?
Am I east of the Mississippi River? What a great question to start with. I am not east of the Mississippi River.
Hi.
Good question.
All right, so he is not. So we're looking to the west. Okay, do we have another question?
Hang on.
Okay.
Does your state border right the Missouri or the Mississippi?
No, let me limit it down to that. Okay.
Do you border the Pacific Ocean?
Do I border the Pacific Ocean? I do not border the Pacific Ocean either. I am in a state that is completely landlocked by other states.
Okay, so he's landlocked. Okay. So he can't border the Gulf of Mexico, right? And he's totally landlocked. Okay, so does he border Mexico? Does he border Canada? Okay, we can't do that one.
Hang on, turn it this way. I'm going to do
that one. All right, we're ready.
Do the Rocky Mountains run through your state?
Oh, can you say that one more time? The volume cut out.
Do the Rocky Mountains run through your state?
That is an excellent question. Another good question. And yes, the Rocky Mountains do run through my state.
Ooh, look at those. Do you see them? Do you see where the Rockies are? Okay. Do you see what states we're looking at, guys? If the Rocky Mountains run through them, which states do we have left?
Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico.
Good. So we need to come up with a good question now. What kind of question would we come up with? Well, which one's next? Okay, so that would eliminate one.
No, does your state border Nebraska? No, do you one of these? Well, yeah.
Pick one. Which question you want?
Nebraska. Yeah. Does your state border?
All right, we're ready.
Does your state border Nebraska?
Does my state border Nebraska? It sure does. Yes.
Oh. Eliminated those?
Does your state border South Dakota? Wyoming or Colorado? What's South Dakota? Can you say does it border Montana? Miss Walter.
Does it border Montana? Okay.
Where can you get that
Okay, I think you got another question, right? Bryson, you got your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does your state border South Dakota?
Does my state border South Dakota? It does border South Dakota as well. Excellent job.
You guys figured it out yet? Okay, you ready for a guess? Okay.
Is your state Wyoming?
Is my state Wyoming? What do you think? Do you think my state's Wyoming?
Yeah!
Yes, you are right. Yes, very good job. I am in Wyoming. Excellent work. I think that was the speediest mystery Skype I've ever had. Very nice job on your questions. So, have any of you ever been to the state of Wyoming?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. I heard some yeses. Excellent. Well, what we are going to do is we are going to explore my museum. And my museum, where I work, is called the Wyoming State Museum. And it is located in the town of Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is also our state capital. So, a little bit about Wyoming. Wyoming became a state 127 years ago in the year 1890. Before that, we were Wyoming Territory, which was established in 1869. So we've had a lot of history that has happened here since we became a state, but even more history that happened before that time as well. So Wyoming was the 44th state out of the 50 states in the U.S. Let's see, a few other facts. We don't have very many people who live here. Wyoming, as we'll talk about, is actually the least populated state in the United States. And to give you an example, our capital city, the town of Cheyenne, is only about 60,000 people. And that's the largest city or town in the state of Wyoming. So what we're going to do is we are going to explore a few areas of the Wyoming State Museum. We are going to talk about our landscape, past and present. We are going to talk about some of our wildlife, some of our cultures, and along the way we'll learn some interesting firsts and other facts about my state. So I'm going to start by turning my camera around. Or maybe. It doesn't want to cooperate. There it went. All right. And we are going to use our imagination and imagine that we could time travel. And if we could time travel, I would love to go back in time about 75 million years. And if we could do that, we would find that the land that is now Wyoming looks very, very different. And that's because it was covered in swamps and palm trees. And if you've ever been walking around a pond or a swamp, and you've accidentally, or maybe it was on purpose, you stepped into the mud. Well, when you did that, you probably noticed that mud does not smell very good. In fact, it smells kind of disgusting. Well, the reason that mud smells so bad is because the plants around that pond, they've lost their leaves have fallen into the water, and they've settled into the mud. And in the mud, they begin to decay or decompose and put off that smelly gas. Well, if we bury that stinky mud for thousands and millions of years, over time, that plant matter that's decaying will go through a change. And it will eventually turn into something we call coal. So wherever we have a deposit of coal, it is a clue for us. It's a clue that tells us that in that same spot, thousands and millions of years ago, there used to be a swamp. Well, Wyoming, we know, was covered in swamps because we have so many deposits of coal. And coal is part of our leading industry in Wyoming. Natural resources like coal, oil, and natural gas make up our #1 industry and are therefore very important to our economy. In fact, Wyoming has been the #1 producer of coal in the United States. So these coal mines are a very important reminder of how important the past and how important history can be, because things that were happening millions of years ago are having major impacts on my state today. Well, our #2 industry here in Wyoming is tourism. So if you were to come and visit me, you would be contributing to our economy through tourism. And when you came to visit, you would actually discover that Wyoming looks nothing like this today. So I want to explore our and talk about what you would see if you could come and visit me, or maybe some of you have already seen this when you visited. So, if you visited me here in Cheyenne, we could explore the State Museum, we could take a break for lunch, and it's going to be a pretty beautiful day, and we probably should make up for it because I think we're about to get a bunch of snow tomorrow. But we could go for a hike. And we could go visit this place, which is a place called Vidavoo. And Vidavoo is in one of our many national forests here in Wyoming. Wyoming is actually home to the very first national forest in the United States. We are also home to the very first national park anywhere in the entire world. Raise your hands if you've ever heard of Yellowstone National Park. Excellent. Have any of you ever been to Yellowstone?
I got one.
Oh, one, excellent. So when that one student was visiting Yellowstone National Park, did you realize that you were actually standing on top of a giant volcano? Very deep below your feet, way below the Earth's surface, is a giant bubble or plume of magma. And that magma heats the underground, which in turn heats the underground water and causes Yellowstone to have some very amazing geothermal features. Those are features like geysers and hot springs and other really amazing things that are created when really hot water comes out of the ground. So I want to show you a live video from, from Yellowstone National Park. My camera, there it goes. All right. So this is a live video from Yellowstone National Park. You can see it's a very snowy day, gray sky. It was pretty cold up in Yellowstone, but you see that steam coming out of the ground. That steam is coming from the vent of Old Faithful. Old Faithful erupts about 20 times per day. And you can Google this web camera. It's a National Park Service web camera. If you just type in Old Faithful webcam, this will come up. And you can watch it. I can tell you that this, the Old Faithful is scheduled to erupt in about 1 hour, just under 1 hour. So 10:14 my time, which is mountain time. And when it does, it's going to blow a huge tower of hot water and steam about 120 feet into the air. So let me show you. I have a photo of Old Faithful. This photo shows Old Faithful during the summertime. So you can see a crowd of people standing around watching it. But you can see Old Faithful and the giant tower of hot water and steam. So, Old Faithful is called Old Faithful because they can predict within plus or minus 10 minutes when it is going to erupt. So, and it's usually very, very accurate. So that's why it's called Old Faithful. Well, it's not the only geyser in Yellowstone. Yellowstone National Park is home to about 500 geysers and 10,000 geothermal features. So let me show you what I think of as the most amazing geothermal feature. There are lots, but this is one of my favorites. This is called Grand Prismatic Spring.
Wow.
And this is a huge hot spring that is just really pretty amazing. So the water is crystal clear. But the reason we have those colors are because different algae live in different temperatures of water, and those different algae are different color. So the blue-green algae like the water where it's more hot, then the algae that's kind of that orange rust color, that likes a little cooler water. But I say cooler, that water is still close to 200 degrees. So this water is very hot. To give you an idea of the size of this, I don't know if you can see it very well. There's this line right there, that little gray line. That is a boardwalk or a sidewalk. So if you were to visit Grand Prismatic, that's where you would walk. So we can tell that that's a very large spring. Let me show you one more picture to give you a better perspective of how that just sits on the land. It's flat, just like the ground around it. So lots of amazing things to see in Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, but it's hot.
Well, what's really amazing is how much magma there is with the Yellowstone volcano. There is enough magma underneath Yellowstone that we could fill the Grand Canyon approximately 14 and a half times. So it is a huge amount of magma, but if Yellowstone became inactive and that magma were to begin to cool down, you might know that it would eventually harden and it turn into a type of rock called igneous rock. Well, if we used wind and water to then erode the soil away from that rock, we would end up with rock formations much like what you see on your screen. So that's actually a very important clue for us. It's a clue that tells us that this place called Weetaboo is the remains of another ancient volcano. This granite, which is an igneous rock, is dated to be about 1.4 billion years old. So here in this part of Wyoming, we have an amazing history of volcanoes from prehistoric all the way through present. Well, if we were to explore this place called Vidavoo, we would actually be traveling through a number of different wildlife habitats. And those habitats that are kind of like neighborhoods that different animals like to call home. So here in Wyoming, we have a number of different habitats, which include places high up in those Rocky Mountains that you asked about during our question portion, way above where the trees even live, and that's called the alpine habitat. Down through the forests into the riparian habitats, the places with water, like ponds and rivers, lakes and streams, down into the wide open prairies that are filled with grasses and sagebrush, and even into a desert. So Wyoming is home to the red desert, which isn't much like the desert that you might think of with the giant tall cacti with the big outreaching arms. We do have some cacti, but those deserts are mostly filled with sagebrush. As we explore those different habitats, I can guarantee that we would see a lot of different wildlife. So I want to talk about some of the animals that we might see. The first one is this pronghorn antelope. The pronghorn, I think, is pretty fascinating for a few different reasons. The number one reason is how fast it is. So you might already know that the cheetah is the fastest land mammal in the world. But since we don't have cheetah native to North America, and especially here in Wyoming, the pronghorn antelope would be the fastest because it can run over 60 miles per hour for pretty good lengths of time, making it the fastest land mammal in North America. You might know, too, that the cheetah is not the fastest animal in the world. There's another animal that's faster than the cheetah. It's a bird, and it's a peregrine falcon. So when that peregrine falcon is flying high up in the air, and it spots its prey, so maybe like this jackrabbit, it's going to dive in order to catch that prey. When that peregrine falcon dives, it can dive at speeds of 120 miles per hour, making the peregrine falcon the fastest animal in the world. There's one more really amazing fact about the pronghorn antelope, though. So I told you that Wyoming is the least populated state out of all 50 states. We have a population of about 600,000 people who call Wyoming home. Wyoming is home to nearly 500,000 pronghorn antelope. So we have almost as many pronghorn in the state of Wyoming as we do people, which is a pretty amazing fact. So if you visit me in Wyoming, it wouldn't be hard to see lots of wide open spaces. But with all those wide open spaces, and even though we have so many pronghorn, we have a lot of other wildlife. In fact, Wyoming is home to over 600 species of wildlife. Like this jackrabbit that we talked about with peregrine falcon. This jackrabbit is pretty amazing because it has a very special adaptation to help it survive winter. So in the fall, when the amount of daylight decreases and the temperatures decrease, the fur, the hair on this jackrabbit will start to turn completely white so that it can blend in with the snow and camouflage itself from predators maybe like this coyote, a smaller predator like a fox, larger predators like the wolf, the mountain lion, the grizzly bear, or the black bear, maybe from that peregrine falcon we talked about, or this prairie falcon, or an even larger bird of prey like this golden eagle. So with over 600 species of wildlife, there is no shortage of wildlife that we can see, whether it's high up in the alpine habitat with this bighorn sheep who loves to climb rocks, or down in the wide open plains where we see the bison. Now, I want to change what we're talking about a little bit here with the bison, and I want to talk about some of our culture here in Wyoming. So you might know that Wyoming is home to Plains Indians. The Plains Indians have lived in what is now Wyoming for about 14,000 years. And the buffalo, the bison, is very important to the Plains Indians. And they have this really interesting legend about their relationship with the bison. So I'm going to tell you that legend. The Plains Indians believe that thousands of years ago, when they first started living in the plains of North America, they believed that the bison used to eat people instead of people eating the bison. So of course the Plains Indians, they didn't think that was fair. They did not want to be eaten by the bison. So it was decided that there was going to be a race. They call it the Great Race of the Birds and Animals. And they divided into two teams. The four-leggeds, so the bison, the pronghorn antelope, the jackrabbits, the coyotes, all the animals with four legs, raced against the two-leggeds, so the Plains Indians and the birds. And they raced around the Black Hills. So during your questions, you asked me if I bordered South Dakota. So this legend actually happened on the border of what is now the border of Wyoming and South Dakota in the Black Hills. So home of Devil's Tower, the very first national monument in the United States, and Mount Rushmore, that monument with the president's faces carved into that giant rock. Well, they raced around the Black Hills, which was going to take several days. And whichever team won the race could hunt and eat the other team. Well, at the very beginning of the race, there's a bird called the magpie. And Magpie decided that she could win the race. So she flew down, and she landed on Buffalo's back, and she stays there the entire race. Well, all along the race, different animals, they go in the wrong direction, they get tired, they give up, they find new homes, they get eaten by other animals. And at the end of the race, it's down to three runners, the Plains Indian, the bison, and that magpie. Well, when Plains Indian and bison see that finishing line, they both start running faster and faster because they want to win the race. Well, everybody had forgotten about Magpie. Magpie was still hanging on to Buffalo's back, and she had saved all of her energy throughout that race. So she was not tired at all. So when Magpie saw the finishing line, she flew off Buffalo's back and swooped across the finishing line just in front of the buffalo or the bison, meaning that the two-leggeds had won the race, and now the two-leggeds, Plains Indians, can hunt and eat the four-leggeds, the bison, instead of the other way around. So the Plains Indians actually believe that the hair on the bison's chin, the bison's beard, they believe that this is a symbol of this legend. Because the Plains Indians believe the hair on the bison's chin is the hair of the people that the bison used to eat. So whenever the Plains Indians see a bison and they hunt a bison, they see its beard, that beard reminds them of this legend. And it reminds them of two very important lessons that they learned, among several others. One of those lessons was to always give thanks. So the Plains Indians thanked the birds for taking their side in the Great Race by wearing their feathers in their headdresses.
You guys can put the maps down.
The other lesson was to be very resourceful. So you know that it means for you to be resourceful when you use your resources wisely, you don't waste anything. Well, the Plains Indians were very resourceful with the bison. When they hunted that bison, they didn't just hunt it for its meat. They treated the bison kind of like we might treat a shopping list of things we need and things we want when we go to the grocery store. But the Plains Indians, they didn't have Walmart. But I like to think that they had Bison Mart. So by hunting the bison, they could get everything they needed because they used every single part of the animal. I have one example that I want to show you. This is a bison's bladder. And, you know, every animal has a bladder. When an animal drinks a lot of water, a little bit later it's going to have to go to the bathroom because its bladder is full of wastewater. Well, the Plains Indians, they did not waste this.
What did they use?
They used this. They mainly used it as a ball during games. They used it as a pouch to carry things in. But most importantly, they used this as a water bottle. So it proves to us, and I can tell by the looks on your faces, it proves to us that they used every single part and were definitely very resourceful. So it proves to us as well that the bison is very important to the Plains Indians. Now, of course, the Plains Indians then started trading with mountain men and the immigrants, the pioneers who came out west. And they didn't have the ladders to use anymore. They started using canteens. Their lives changed a lot. But I want to mention the Plains Indians, they're still in Wyoming today. We have the Wind River Indian Reservation, which is home to two tribes of Plains Indians, the Northern Arapaho and the Eastern Shoshone. And even more importantly, we have members of all kinds of tribes living throughout all the communities in our state. So the bison is not just important to Plains Indians. It's important to us in Wyoming in general. And that's because it's our state mammal. So I'm going to turn my camera around one more time because I want to show you one more thing from the museum. And that is our state flag. So you'll see our state flag is red, white, and blue.
Think about why they have that on their flag.
You'll see the bison as our state mammal is in the center of that flag.
Just pick up the maps.
But there's something in particular I want to focus on. And that is that circle in the center of the bison. So that circle is our state seal. So you can see different elements of our state seal. There's a cowboy and a miner. We have banners that say livestock and mines, oil and grain. But I want to focus on this banner right there. Can you read what that says?
Equal rights.
Equal rights.
Excellent. Equal rights. Equal rights is very important to the state of Wyoming. Wyoming is the very first state out of all 50 states to grant women the right to vote during an election. And we did that when we became a territory back in 1869. Women in Wyoming territory maintained that right until Wyoming became a state in 1890. And we maintain that right still until women across the United States could vote in elections in 1920. So equal rights is very important in that regard, but Wyoming was also home to the very first female governor in the United States, the very first female justice of the peace, the very first female bailiff in a courtroom, the very first all-female jury in a courtroom, and the very first all-female city council to run a city. So Wyoming has a really long and early history of equal rights for women. Okay, so we've talked about our landscape, we've talked about our wildlife, some of our cultures, and along the way some interesting facts about Wyoming. I want to see if you have any questions for me. It looks like you're ready to go.
Oh, we're just getting ready for lunch, but I thought it was really cool how you were talking about the granite. Have you ever heard of Stone Mountain here in Georgia?
I have not, no.
You'll have to Google it. It's pretty cool, but it's a piece of granite that was pushed up in the crust, and then they carved out, they have, who's on it? Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, so you'll have to research that. It's pretty cool. He's frozen.
I got a question. Should I just hang it out like
No, he's frozen. He might come back again. Our signal is lost.
All right, look and see on this later. They're all on the agenda. I was just trying to go get